Howdy, howdy! Welcome to Inside the Brick Box Lego Community News. And yes, I got it right this week.
Yay!
I'm back. Sorry, guys. A little bit unwell yesterday. Slept 4 hours and I've been out like a light. So,
You're a lot better today.
Yeah, I'm a little bit better today. I'll try and do as much as I can. But yeah.
So let's rock and roll with the topic of the day.
Yeah. Last week I didn't say that I was up to my 20th video. I totally forgot about that. I'm actually on 21st video today.
Yay, you've come of age.
So let's get straight into it. That one and
clicking things.
That one and that one. There we go.
Welcome to the universe.
And that one. So I think and
it's funny that I said and clicking things in the title. Why is Lego not clicking customs? That's yeah, choice.
Yeah. The irony. Well, it's the only article I found. This is from BBC. Lego's last financial years, I should say years, because it has been second financial year already over in Europe. Theirs is opposite to us here in Australia. They've gone through drops in profits. Some say because of the failure of some movies. Some say it's the failure of selling products. But you could say it could be both. Lego has, in the last financial year, had a dramatic slump in sales in their two biggest lines. Friends and City lines have been struggling to sell over the last 12 months. Including their current Lego movies, including Lego Batman and Ninjago movie sets. And because of this, it has created one of the biggest backlogs of Lego kits in the Lego factory. Now, if you're wondering why Lego products were taking so long from early 2017, was due to the lack of product moving due to stocking up for kits for release for the movies.
Yeah, aka lack of space on the shelf. Lack of space on the shelf to actually put product on.
So yeah. Oh, and it's a lack of space in the warehouse as well. Due to the retailers not purchasing more stock. So it's been a horrible financial year by Lego due to this thing. A lot of AFOLs have come out saying, well, why haven't they maybe brought out a better Lego model for purchasing individual bricks than maybe trying to produce more Lego kits? But we don't know what is truly the factor behind their warehousing issues. In the last 2 weeks, there has been pictures of issues with their current manufacturing process in China with, was it 40-something tons of Lego being shredded due to warping and that?
Yes, I saw images of that.
So
and a lot of assholes going, oh my god, look at all that waste.
But in my mind, that's natural instincts when issues like that happen. And I think that might be another problem why they're having warehousing issues as well, is that they're still trying to get the Chinese factory online, producing good quality.
Is not online yet. It's still in process.
It's still in process. They have had some successful production lines, but some of the machines are still having problems calibrating right.
I was under the impression that the Chinese factory should be online by now, because I was under the impression the timeline was about 2 years.
Yeah. Well, from the sound of it, basic high pressure parts have been going good. That's aka bricks and that. They're having current issues because the machines they're using are new machines, different to what they've been using in Denmark. And their plates have been the major issue at the moment. So they're still trying to get, basically, you got to calibrate the pressure on the machine and getting it right down to the things. But coming back to the stocking issues, I'll just go off present for a sec. Part of the stocking issues, what's happening at the moment is there's 3 phases of Lego. There is your factory, what has its own storage facility, what is loose bricks. Then you go to packaging, what is a mixture of loose bricks and pre-packaged Lego stock ready to go off to warehousing. And then the final stage is local storage. Like here in Australia, we have local storage in Sydney, and we got local storage over in China. So what's happened is that a backlog in the first stage of the chain has pushed importing stock to each location around the world. What's then backlogged to the packing factory.
It has a domino effect.
What is now at capacity, what is now holding back the Lego parts being shipped on to continue the chain reaction all the way through the line.
It's a domino effect.
So the factories are at full capacity, and as they're trying to push out the products, because at the moment retailers are not ordering as much Lego as they usually do, due to the failure of a couple of the movies last year. Some sets haven't been popular enough and are still sitting on shelves. Also, there has been a flop in Lego City and Lego Friends sets in the last 12 months. Due to some retailers incorrectly pricing products, and B, people just getting sick and tired of the same old sets.
You've got overpriced theme lines like the superheroes in the Friends line. That was a massive flop. It wasn't priced correctly. It was too expensive, and people simply weren't interested in buying it at full price. And I don't blame them. If I had kids that were, interested in that line, I would steer them away from it because of the costs. And in this economic climate worldwide, the way that it is these days, people don't have a lot of, free money, money free for buying toys whenever they like. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how that's had a knock-on effect with Lego and its choices to do 2 movies last year. 2 separate movie lines. Now, I'm pretty sure the Ninjago movie stuff did okay. But the Batman movie, 2 separate lines of stuff. The movie didn't do very well, and it showed a knock-on effect when you looked at the merchandise that was made to match it.
Yeah. Some of the merchandise, in some ways, it felt like it was rushed and put to production too soon, instead of doing the proper what they call preview with kids and seeing what their feel of the product.
Maybe they didn't do it to the degree that they normally do with their products. I feel that it was a stretch for Lego to do 2 movies in 1 year, 2 major productions. I think it would have been better off stretching, like maybe doing Batman last year and doing Ninjago this year, but then that might have had an even bigger impact on their profits. So it's a gamble when you're diversifying into things that are not as tangible, because the movie itself would have made them money as well.
But a lot of the pressure too has been on from actually Warner Brothers, because they're actually the production company behind the movies. And I forget what the film. Oh, is it? Oh, damn it! I always forget the film place here in Australia. They were pushed into producing it sooner than later. What in my mind would have been better off later than sooner, because at least then it would have kept the flow on, like what the first Lego movie did.
Yeah, it just seems weird that they've taken so long doing another Lego movie, like the Lego movie, and then they've pushed out these two other full features that, honestly, the Ninjago movie was okay as far as I was concerned, but the Batman movie, it felt like something that could have gone straight to DVD.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you would make two releases of lines for. You had two lots of minifigures, you had two lots of releases. It was just a tragedy waiting to happen.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Lego is sort of pushing a little bit too much into the license market with products in the minifigures at the moment, and a lot of AFOLs haven't been really getting into them. Same as the kids. A lot of them are not really fussed over some of the ones that have come out in the past 12 months, and it's a flow-on effect too.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll see. Obviously this is related to a lot of Lego's cutbacks last year across the board. It's not just been one part of the company. It's been like the whole lot from woe to go.
So yeah, no. And then because of new product lines, 100% I guarantee a lot of the backlog with the factory side of it would have been to do with the Millennium Falcon, because there was a big delay between production runs of the Millennium Falcon 2. What really upset a lot of the AFOLs out there who were the big pushing arm behind the Millennium Falcon relaunch last year. And that was ridiculously long between.
They put a ridiculous amount of hype up for that. And surely they knew that the hype was going to deliver.
Yeah.
Surely they knew the hype was going to deliver it. And I question whether or not the scarcity thing was a little bit planned to have the knock-on effect of making people, oh, I need to get this, I need to get it now, not late, I need to get it now because it won't be here anymore. I need it now. And it being such a large purchase too.
But see, that other thing what actually enticed everyone over was the card.
And I've heard so many people haven't got their cards yet.
A stupid little black card, what in real terms all it does is give you access to some exclusive Star Wars stuff during the year.
There's some special sale deal thingies. What's it?
Yeah.
I haven't heard about all the specifics, but yeah, anyone who hasn't physically got the card can't take advantage of any of that.
Yeah. It's a big downlet on Lego's half. But I in some ways I'm hoping this knock-on effect won't affect some of the cool things coming out this year with Power Functions 2.0. That is one thing I do not want to see delayed this year. I really, really want to see this out before Christmas, because I can see Lego's sales going up just from a product. We've been waiting for how many years? It was 2011 was when Power Functions really started taking off, and that's when everyone was saying, "Why isn't there Bluetooth feature?" And it's finally come.
I suppose the question is also is the customer base getting Lego fatigue because too many things are coming out and there's no time for I mean, we've got to remember that Lego is a child's toy.
Yeah.
And, in my day, when I was a kid, you get toys of that sort of price range not every day, not every week. You get them at birthdays and Christmas.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you go back. Let's look at the last 12 months of Lego sets. What was the number one line of sets other than license? What was taking a while to sell on shelves? It was the Lego City line. The Lego City line took forever to sell out of its what you call starter sets or battle pack minifigure sets last financial year. And yeah, no, they were on shelves for donkey yonks. And I think I can still pick up the old ones for almost 2 years ago, still in stores, because the stock is still floating around. So maybe it's time Lego backs off from the police theme for a bit and maybe concentrate back on fire.
Well,
What seems like it's underutilized.
Well, that's what the AFOL community is saying, but we've got to remember this is a child's toy, and they go with what performs the best. So police apparently performs the best in that age group. City is, was it 6 to 12?
If the parents are not buying it for the kids, who's buying it? That's my question. If it is popular with the kids, why isn't it selling?
Maybe it's just a case of overstocking.
But the number one thing I keep hearing, this is not just from AFOLs, this is from everyone. People want to see more houses, shops, buses, transport vehicles,
now Lego
all those types of lines.
The houses and stuff like that belong in the creator line.
Even that's not even being produced as dramatically. They've already, I think the big stuff up was last year going into their little modular design buildings has stuffed up that line. And I think that could be another factor in the lack of sales is Lego's getting lazy with their designs again.
I quite liked the creator houses last year. There seems to be a lack of them this year. Like what we have this year is more like, I don't know, not themey. They're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Like you've got that treehousey like thing that has the skateboard bowl up the side.
Yeah.
I'm sure kids probably think it's awesome, but from my perspective, I look at it and go, okay, it's got some good points to it, but as a standalone thing, I wouldn't see myself playing with it as a child, but I'm an adult, so what do I know?
Yeah, no. The only other thing I can think of is why it seems like Lego is being very selective on its trialing markets too. Maybe it's time they individually trial different markets, surveying them instead of the usual Germany, what was their number one selling network, and actually truly seeing what everyone likes. So, yeah, even the American factory systems slow down too, and they are even worse off than us. The North American network is a lot smaller than the European and Chinese side, and it got hit very hard last financial year.
Well, I think from that respect, that's got more to do with the fact that people just don't have money to spend. I mean, look at the businesses that are folding left, right, and centre. You know, Toys R Us, you know, fell into trouble real quickly. You know, you've got lots of other big box retailers folding because they simply cannot stay in a competitive market anymore.
And a very unstable government in the current market too doesn't help. So people are saving their pennies. So yeah.
I wonder what people in the comments are thinking about all this topic. Has anyone seen this topic before, or in the last couple of days? I know that this article was based on Lego's release of their their quarterly or whatever it is that they normally do. They release information to the public.
Yeah. What do you call it?
Oh, we got Jason Miller in the chat.
Yeah.
We started so quickly I didn't get a chance to let people know we were going live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And if you're confused of why we're doing it on Thursday, I was unwell yesterday. So I'm trying to keep up with the streams, keeping a steady flow work at the moment. Yeah. As you can see, I am busy at the moment sorting out my collection and destroying it. So
yes. So for Jason, we're just talking about the latest news about Lego and their slump in profits and what we think might be the root causes. I would hope that the Lego group itself has better insight, but from our side of things, it does look like that some poor choices have been made.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they're not too detrimental. We don't get a repeat.
That's the other thing I've been thinking. I hope they're not overhyping Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, because that would be a killer. That would be a serious killer.
This is the problem when when you're releasing so many licensing. The Batman movie licensed thing. Ninjago movie, even though it's their IP, it's still a licensed thing. They still charge more for that than, say, City on a per piece comparison. Also, that's my experience with Australian dollars. But yeah, at the end of the day, they still made a profit.
Yeah,
it just wasn't as big a profit as they were forecasting. And, if you're not continuously in growth, it's a bad thing when you're in business. But the bubble was bound to burst at some point.
Yeah. But plus on top, you got to put in, there has been large retooling at Lego as well with, crap load new parts in the last 12 months. And that has been a huge cost to Lego as well. So it gets that way. They got to keep innovating company and producing new products and new parts out there. As much as people who are the old school people saying, "Oh, why didn't they stick with their bricks?"
That's the one thing I've heard repeated numerous times is Lego's been making too many different bricks. They need to stop doing that. It's like, well, there are only so many, ways that you can make. I know that you can, interconnect a 2x4 this many thousands of times, but making it interesting enough for kids that are of the internet generation, you've got to have innovations. You've got to have something interesting, something different. You can't just hand them something the same as what their parents had and hold their attention long term. Yeah, sure, they'll look at it and go, "Oh, wow, that's cool, Mummy." And then, 5 seconds later, they're off to whatever's next.
Yeah.
They need new pieces to make the things that are going to capture the attention of this generation of kids.
Yeah. Yeah, no. If you do actually go back, I think in some ways, if they don't do the overhype with Harry Potter, hopefully they don't. Harry Potter was at one stage the second most selling Lego after Star Wars back in the early 2000s, a part of their license branding.
Got an interesting point in the chat from Jason Miller. He says that it's more than one reason. Yes, we have covered a few things since before you popped in.
Yeah.
We do believe that, like Lego said themselves, it's not just one particular thing. It's just a whole heap of smaller things that have added up to the bigger shortfall in the profits they expected. And he was saying that one reason might be that Disney raised the licensing fees for all toys. The employee pays have gone up, taxes have gone up. So yeah, there's a lot of like individual factors that have added to this. It's been a domino effect.
Yeah. Oh, there's other things we haven't even talked about. Here in Australia, we've been having custom issues.
Oh yeah,
with Lego's importing of stock for customers it's just getting out of control here in Australia. We
have talked about the topic before, but in relation to and that would affect customers' perceived like they're won't necessarily see it as being a customs issue. They might be looking at Lego and going, oh, well, maybe I won't order from Lego.
Hello.
Better late than ever.
It's Mr. Echo.
Hello, Darren.
Evening, folks.
You got the generator running, getting the internet going.
No, I only just got home from a big day out.
Fair enough.
Got a new enough today, so let's hopefully things are a bit crisper and looking a lot nicer. And maybe no echo.
Where are we? No, I'm not hearing an echo. Douglas McBricken is also saying that Brexit may have also had an effect on everything because of the euro dropping in value. I'm assuming dropping in value.
That's always been happening in the last year due to Greece. Greece really drew down the euro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think when it's coming, like the causality of it is coming from like the most stable economy in the European Union.
Poor Germany.
It's going to cause waves. And, it just goes to show that the Lego economy and the regular economy are linked.
Invest in Lego. It's better than gold.
Don't. Please don't. I want to be able to afford Lego.
Oh. Well, how it's going in the last 12 months, it seems like it's not going to be a good investment if there is a backlog of Lego.
Neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. Hopefully we get some cheap stuff out of it.
It's supply and demand. Like, for example, at the moment, I am really...
It's like with cryptocurrency at the moment.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
It's going up and down like a yo-yo the last 12 months.
But like I was trying to say, limited edition stuff when they don't communicate very well that something is limited edition. Hubby is chasing up brickheads that we should have been able to order without any dramas.
Oh yeah, no, that was, I think, one of the biggest blunders. Limiting certain parts of the brickheads.
Oh yeah.
That's just been ridiculous.
Other than something like Comic-Con, like I can accept.
Yeah.
Not getting a Comic-Con exclusive.
But the mainstream retail version, no.
Yeah, mainstream. No. There's stuff that is not coming to retail at all, and that was not communicated. So, if I'm frustrated, how many other people are in that same boat, frustrated, having to buy something on the secondary market instead of directly from Lego? If they just produced a few more, it's not like a Mr. Gold situation where there's, a ridiculously small amount and it's a product that people want. Like, who is causing this to be limited? Is it Lego or is it the licensing saying we want this figure to be?
Well, on Disney's so-called raise and Disney had signed an agreement years ago. What doesn't expire until I think 2020, and it's usually on a fixed rise. a staple rise every year until that license agreement's done, and then they
renegotiate
and redo everything. Yeah. This is basically with all licensed lines.
I remember.
Naturally, we're probably at that stage. The Disney license fee has got up. It's at that
it has.
peak.
It has.
Yeah.
So that's obviously pushing prices too. And the thing is that when you know and you're in the position of knowing that your product is the one that's selling the best, of course you're going to put in.
Well, let's look at Lego's lineup at the moment. I guarantee half the percentage of licensed products at the moment are owned by Disney. They own Star Wars. They own Disney princesses.
Yeah. Has Lego made their bed and now they have to lie in it, and it's lined with Disney sheets?
Yeah.
They're going to wake up with a horse head in the bed shortly.
Oh no!
It'll be made from 2x4 bricks, but so you don't tell me I'm not coming.
I think the reason why Warner Brothers has been pushing a lot of Lego related movies is they're trying to keep up with the Disney hype with Lego, and they can see Lego is the way of the future with certain movies and that, and they're trying to get into it. And I think the reason why they've re-signed the agreement with Harry Potter back when Dimensions was come, yes, that's another major flop on Lego's part, but just note that the Dimensions line was more governed by Warner Brothers than actually Lego. That's why the prices were a lot higher. And what's happened is Warner Brothers has tried to push something what was on its way out at the time.
So I suppose the lesson to be learned here is to try and keep the decisions in-house as much as possible. Don't give the decision making away.
Yeah.
For the basis of a product, like a product that's not part of the core product line. Like Dimensions, like movies and stuff like that. And it seems like it's the problems are Disney, Warner, who else? You're looking at really big players in the corporate universe.
Well, I actually put it in inspection now. It's almost done and deal. Disney has now basically almost got their hands fully on the Fox franchises out there, and that is going to increase their fold even wider. So yeah. But
one thing about the licensed products.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing about the licensed products, it has made Lego's own lines cheaper. So for those that
only by comparison.
Only by comparison, but yeah.
So I personally, what's happened with Lego Dimensions has been the one thing what's really helped Lego. Now they've got control of Harry Potter again, because as much as people have been wanting Harry Potter and all that back, the number one problem they've been having is trying to sign a new license agreement with Warner Brothers. And this big stuff up is the reason why we're getting Harry Potter delayed this year. So
I'm wondering whether Warner getting to do the Ninjago movie and the Batman movie had anything to do with them really wanting Harry Potter.
I know they wanted Harry Potter. I know there was what they call a lead out agreement that they could not sign any additional companies along to build the building products of Harry Potter for X amount of years, and surprisingly the overlap hasn't happened yet. So they've got back in with no issues. They've got the Harry Potter line, plus now they've got them Fantastic Beast line. What I'm excited about, because I'm actually quite excited about the Fantastic Beasts movie line ones, because it looks like it's going to be quite interesting. As yes, I am getting stuck into Harry Potter in the last few weeks, and I'm really excited. Yeah, and then there I go. I get copy strike. Thank you, Sheree.
No, it's a cover. That's totally legit.
So yeah, no, that's one big major thing is it does come down to licensed products doing successful in the Lego line. Plus, it's also their own lines. They need to be more innovative with what they produce and what they bring out to us. Then what's the name of those sets? Where I got Darren hooked onto Thinking Bigger Ideas or something. Oh, I can't remember. The one with Mr. Birdie in it.
Essentially, this year's creator.
Yeah. I believe that is going to be a popular series with younger kids, and I think that might re-spark interest, especially since the little sets have been a complete sellout. Done better than their classic sets at the same price mark last year.
Yeah, Creator has a good angle on it because there's some creative builds in there. People like the animals, things like that. Even though they don't have wheels and things like that in them on the whole,
but they still have good pieces.
They have good pieces, and that's the key. Where I just caught the end of the conversation before about the new pieces. People are saying there's too many pieces, new pieces. Look, yes, there is a lot of pieces. When you go into something like Bricklink, there is a plethora of pieces out there. There is a ton. But that is what's giving Lego its major edge at the moment is compared to the other knockoff or other brands. We won't call them knockoffs anymore because the IP is finished. We'll just call them other brands. They do not have anywhere near the range of parts. They don't have the number of parts to articulate, join in different directions, things like that, and specialist parts. Lego has really done well on the minifig accessories that can be used in more ways. As we've seen, things like croissants made in white have made really good parts for modular buildings, as an example. So they've found different uses for things and done quite well out of it. So I'm not worried about the parts issue. What I think what's really got to be looked at in this last 12 months especially is moving into China. Massive tool-up costings, massive setup costings for the factories. I don't know if you've covered this before.
And big fuck-up issues too.
Yeah.
I can swear. It's an AFOL show. It's an AFOL show.
So there's been a lot of issues there, but I really think the marketing is sort of you got to look at it in this respect, especially in Australia. We are seeing more marketing for Lego than we ever have. You go back to the 70s, even the early 80s, there was no marketing. Lego was a word-of-mouth product pretty much, except at Christmas time, when you saw a little bit of advertising. Rarely did you see anything on TV.
You go back in Lego history. It was the 1980s when it went ballistic with advertising.
And then it went to a different price point around the mid-80s where, they really did try to push the product and we got a lot more of it. And I think what really started and kicked that bit off was when we started to get the road shows coming around that did Maya and things like that. They had to plug those or else they were expensive to bring out. So Maya pretty much stuck money in to make sure people came in and bought Lego, because that was the whole point of the road shows. You came in and bought Lego off the back of it. And I remember standing in queues and watching people dropping like $500-600 back in the mid-80s, which was a couple of weeks worth of wages for most people. Because it was the one time you got access to just about everything that was available in Australia. So, I know myself, I dropped stupid amounts of money at some of those shows. So, I look, with the advent of the internet, they've got an advertising bonanza for pretty much free from people like us, for example, that push their products and give good sort of feedback and ideas, things like that. There's lots of YouTubers out there doing reviews of the builds, things like that. So people get an idea more of what's out there. You just don't have to walk in the shop and look at the box and go, oh, what can I do with it? Build a question.
That's I think the biggest blunder Lego's done is the old school secondary options of builds. They need to bring those back on the back of the boxes like they did back in the 80s, early 90s. That was the one thing what truly sold me on Lego as a kid was the B option, the C option. Yes, there was no instructions, but that was the fun of it.
Yeah, see if you could build it.
Yeah.
I noticed there's been a lot of links to instructions on the internet, for example. So that's one point. Yeah. And a lot of people have actually been posting their own creations they've made it out of these sets and going, hey, if I shove number such and such together with number such and such, this is what you can come up with. And it's when you're seeing a lot more of that too now, where if you buy 2 Technic kits and jam together, you get another build out of it.
Yeah.
That's a good marketing ploy. It really is. So it's good to see that to a point. One thing I've really liked to see this year and last year is we've finally seen some Technic at under the $25 point. And that's good. I love Technic. I always have. I don't buy a lot of it simply because I'm more on the artistic side. I don't use a lot of Technic. But at this price point, we've actually gone and bought a bit more. We bought a track racer the other day for Elizabeth for the weekend to build at Mugs because they're having a Technic deal. But, really, there's it's good to see the cheaper Technic sets out there. One of our kids at the kids club bought the telehandler, the cargo set, and loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I mean, it was well above his build age. He's only 7, but he stuck it together quite easily. And
well, that's the one thing. I reckon the build ages are really not needed anymore on Lego. I think it's more skill level in my personality because there's some kids out there. I am surprised you can build Millennium Falcons. Yeah. It's time to maybe delete the age grouping and maybe put skill levels into the market instead.
There is a bit there with the expert. Yeah. When it comes to expert kits, they put expert on it, but there's really nothing below that. So the expert has been a real, ooh, I'm an expert if I can put this together. That's your own.
Maybe they need to bring out bigger models. Full-size Taylor Swift models. Some people will be saying, "Oh, we build Taylor Swift out of Lego." Let me guess. I know one person who would be interested in that. Not me. Someone I know. He's a totally big Taylor Swift fan. And she doesn't know who I'm talking about.
I know
you know him.
Yes.
I'm actually looking at a comment in the chat that they reckon that Lego sales are no direct reflection on sales associated with the shows that we do as AFLLs. Nah, look, when you see how many people walk out of an event like Brickvention with armloads of Lego, come on, we're talking 4 and 5 containers worth sold in a weekend at one event.
Yeah, but you could argue that some of that product is secondary market stuff. There's only so many that direct consumer retailers that go to Brickvention. But I know what you're saying. I know that wherever my lug shows go, because we go to regional towns, the Lego sales
pick up in the general area. Of course they do. Because people come to the show and what do? They go, we have witnessed this firsthand. We've been packing up on an afternoon, or we've left except Bendigo Bricks. Went down to followed a group out of Bendigo Bricks, went down to the Woolworths to get something, and they all walked into the Big W, and I mean they all walked out with more than $100 worth each, and I'm talking a group of about 30 people. Yeah. That's just a direct reflection. Oh, I saw something there, and I actually asked a few questions. I said, so what influenced your purchase, what you bought? And they've gone...
And Lego know that.
Yeah, and they've just basically said, "Oh, we've looked at the build. Now we want to go home and try and build some of it.
That's why they want to know where shows are at.
Yeah.
So that they can see, what reflection that has on their profit margin. Because at the end of the day, they are a business. They're in the business of making money. And if they don't make money, then Lego goes away. And like it or not, that's the nature of business.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think as a business, though, they've got to look at more of the pocket money sales again. They've sort of neglected that. I mean, yes, polybags to a point are pocket money sales, but
we don't really have those polybags.
Yeah, and Woolworths basically, Woolworths especially getting the exclusive on polybags hasn't helped either.
Well, they rush off the shelves really quickly.
Yeah,
we never see them here hardly. If we do,
I know Toys R Us has got some of them, but they've only got limited supplies. And it's usually only one.
I think in a lot of respects, Lego have really got their thinking cap on it when it comes to marketing. They're really switched on in that respect. It's just a pity with the global economy, things like that, it hasn't really showed itself in this last year. And hey, in business, it's reality. Occasionally you do have to, because of the way taxation systems work in various countries, you have to sometimes post a little bit of a not quite a huge profit to get some government help. So let's just say, I'm not going to say this is what they've done, but
not necessarily government help, but to reduce their tax liability.
To reduce tax liability, but companies like China, countries like China that want them in, I can't say what the deal was, but I know from having dealt with other manufacturers that are in that general vicinity, because they're locked into the Three Gorges Dam project, they get electricity at prices that are absolutely crazy compared to what the rest of the world pay for electricity. In some cases, they even get it for free. They don't pay for electricity. It's part of the deal for going there. They get the land for nothing. They'll even get the buildings built. If it's a big enough mob that's going to employ enough people and really bring a lot of export dollars in, they'll basically get the factory built for nothing, and all they've got to do is put the machinery inside it. And that was probably very highly likely for a company like Lego, which brings a very high-profile brand, and they're going to sell a lot of product in their domestic market now, and it is a huge market. It's not going to be, I'm going to say right now, Lego in China is going to be very much a snob value product for a long time. It's not going to be able to afforded by the average person in the street, but hopefully
it depends on how they price things in the market for China.
Yeah, I think if they actually go into China with also the China angle too, if they actually produce China series boxes which are local language, which is highly likely because it's one of the things they sort of try to encourage when people bring local content in. They might really run away with that middle sector market too. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, they're already starting to produce Chinese marketed products already with architectural design sets. And you imagine what else will come.
And when I'm saying about the language, I'm not saying completely written in Chinese. I'm just saying there'll be Chinese, as in manufactured in, and it'll be where it was manufactured. It'll be actually in Chinese. It won't be complete Chinese writing on the box. It'll be what we see, but with some added Chinese writing in the fine print on it. That's where I'm coming. If anyone before says, we'll be seeing Le Pin. No. We'll just see a bit of Chinese character added to it in the fine print sort of thing, and maybe part counts, things like that. It's but they're going to do quite well out of the Chinese market. I mean, it's going to be a big market for them in the future because it is a huge market for anything.
And that's what they're touting as hey folks, this isn't a major drama because China.
Yeah, it's getting there, and it's look, I think this year. Or this year just gone, this financial year, mightn't have been their best, but I think the coming financial year is going to be a cracker for them if they've, if they work on a few little other areas, as far as we've mentioned many times, as bringing in more parts kits, things like that, I think they will sell very well. And then not a lot of plastic invested in those kits either. Something like road sign kits, there's not a lot of plastic in them really, but they'll sell like hotcakes. You know, so it's more complicated moldings, but look back at the previous sort of that street furniture stuff is really important to make a good easy build model for kids and even for adults. You know, if you can add a couple of fences to a construction scene, you know, you got a guy holding a lollipop stick that says stop. You know, those sort of things really add to the whole playability and the look of it. And they're there, but they're hard to find.
Little city, like they want to build their city.
Yeah, and that's it. And so those parts are out there. They're just hard to source as a readily $5 with my pocket money type of kit, which is what it used to be, sort of thing. It wasn't $5, but I'm just saying, sort of like it was within the reach of the average kid to grab, you know, maybe a dozen really cool parts. And
well, not to go off topic too much, but you look at the Hot Wheels model where, you know, you can get a Hot Wheel car for like a couple of bucks, or you can get that collectible one that costs you more money that has whiz bang things. You know, they get you on, you know, on the entry level, and then they suck you in, and then you start buying the more expensive stuff.
Oh yeah, sure. And then you had the track packs and stuff like that.
Because my son has a big, massive container of Hot Wheels cars.
And they're very collectible. Look, adults collect them and they go for crazy money for the early stuff.
You're not collecting them. Just, you know, it's like $2. You don't think of $2.
Yeah.
It's like, here, you can have this for being a good boy.
Well, that Hot Wheels, this is what they're selling in Aldi at the moment.
Mm.
Yeah.
That only was at $1.99.
Mm.
And that's selling.
Yeah.
Well,
And they're horrible. And they're horrible.
No.
I challenged a couple of kids at Bold last a couple of weeks back to build a car with bigger wheels that was a different car whichever way you flipped it up. Now, Hot Wheels used to have a car like that was
yeah.
You flipped it over, it was a different car body on each side. And it was a pretty cool concept, so I challenged to build something. You just see what they come up with. Maybe Lego can hook into that sort of thing where it's a bit different and make it work. I've always been a big fan of when they've had like the pullback motors are a pretty cool thing. The old rubber band ones they had with the stretchy bands, the silicon bands, and that was all good stuff. You know, it was good. Now they've brought in a bit of RC stuff as well. Maybe they can up the game with that a bit, and hopefully with the new power functions they will.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be a game changer in that respect. So we'll see.
I seriously can't wait to see power functions integrated into Technique next year. Oh my god, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and it's going to be a game changer, I think, because especially a lot of kids have tablets. They'll interact with them more, and it'll give them a chance to program when they're not with their Lego. So a lot of them will sit back and do programming and then come home and play with it.
And the thing is, too, is this generation, they're on the internet, they're on the computers, they're on their iPads and tablets and devices. You know, you need to connect with them somehow, and this is a way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think also, too, I haven't actually used the app yet, but there's been some, a Lego app, I'm pretty sure, that allows you to do stop-motion video. I've seen some pretty good stuff coming out of it. You know, that's another thing that kids are getting to. So it's putting a creative spin on it in another area.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a great builder,
and
you can only build the sets as they are, you can still use it in a creative way.
Yeah. Hey, Adam, are we going to get on to any of the other topics we were thinking about talking about? Like the lovely bombshell about you know what and you know who.
You know how.
And Barbie.
You know how to keep an idiot in suspense, don't you?
Ow.
Just drop a line like that. Everyone in the chat's going, Jesus Christ, what are they talking about?
Oh, now our viewers are lovely. Chris, not.
Sorry, guys, just having a laugh. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
So this is something that I spotted today. I think it was today.
Probably.
Yeah. Showing was it? Where is it on Rambling Brick? Showing a potential connection to why the women of NASA was missing one of the women, and probably one of the better, more interesting characters, in my opinion. Not. Let me rewind that. Not that this particular character is more important than anyone else, but I can see why Barbie snaffled. What's her name? Catherine.
Yeah.
And so it seems that Barbie and Mattel are making a line of influential female role models, including what's her full name? Catherine. You've scrolled to the bottom, Adam.
No, I didn't. I just scrolled down the picture.
Catherine Johnson.
Oh, how couldn't you think of that name? So simple.
Oh, I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. So, yeah, I find it interesting, and this brings up some questions about the ideas, the Lego Ideas submission process, and how it's so very public. That this project was, put up a long time ago, long enough for Barbie to come along and go, well, how can we capitalize on women and influential women, and is this a case of sabotage? Because it certainly feels like sabotage from what I'm reading in this article about the women of NASA Lego Ideas set. The process of how they do Lego Ideas is so public that it would be so easy for a company to pick up on an idea and then run with it as a different toy line.
Oh, yeah.
What do you reckon?
Well, Mattel being number 2 toy maker at the moment, yeah, you would want to try and stab number 1 in the back.
Well, it does feel like a bit of corporate espionage almost. That they've looked at this and like has the non-inclusion of Catherine had an impact on the sales of the Women of NASA set? Because I remember when aside from the pricing issue, but we'll take pricing out of the equation, but I know that a lot of people were excited about this set, and then the first images came out and we find out that Catherine wasn't included, and the only explanation that was given was oh she wouldn't release permission for her image to be used in the set, and that was it.
Well, my guess that was true.
Yes.
Because she had a commercial agreement elsewhere.
Yeah. So the question is did Mattel jump on the bandwagon just that little bit quicker than Lego to secure her to sabotage the popularity of this set? Because I know that knowing that she wasn't a part of it, it kind of tarnished it a little bit for me wanting it. Like, I didn't rush and want to get it straight away. Whereas, for the Research Institute, which was like the first idea set that came out with a very strong female presence in the set, that just flew off the shelves so fast they couldn't keep up with it. I mean, it's still been popular. But I don't know. Barbie, shame.
Yeah. Everyone knows.
And isn't Barbie's IP belongs to competitor Mega Constructs?
No, other way around. Mattel owns Mega Constructs.
Mattel owns Mega Constructs now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that before they owned it, I think they had the licensing for Barbie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting maneuvering in the marketplace.
So it gets away.
Yeah.
What's this? I'm just reading some conversation in the. Hang on, in the live chat.
So it is interesting how they have locked onto this thing of powerful female figures, and I think it's a great thing. Generally, in general, just locking onto this science field has been a good thing. So now we maybe need to see some male ones done as well. It's just interesting how people have really ran with that particular, the women in NASA set and the previous science one. I think the next line they should be looking at in along those general lines is maybe astronomy. There's been some pretty amazing astronomers, and the night sky always intrigues most kids when they can look up and see the stars, and they can then sort of, and especially now we've got many rock star astronomers out there. You know, we've got these guys like Neil Tyson deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Sorry, deGrasse Tyson. Sorry, just there. Long day, and I didn't sleep last night.
Sleep for the week.
Look, I'm having a total mental blank here. The guy that my missus absolutely drools over, the Scottish guy.
The Scottish guy. Help him out here.
Yeah, help me out here, people.
Scottish guy.
It's so popular you can't think of names.
Yeah. I was having a mental blank here. It's just like, yeah. Anyway, look, there's all these people out there that have got really big profiles, and they would make. I think they'd really get a kick out of having a minifig made in there and a set made around them. So, the astronomy is one that I could probably go through. I think also the heroes of computing. Yeah. It's probably another way to go to. Maybe have a bit of a trouble with the Apple guys because one of them's dead now.
That could cause problems, but yeah.
But you know, it's just,
I think Lego Ideas as a project is you know, it's open to so much stealing. Like it used to be that you'd only have to worry about knockoff brands.
Yeah.
Knocking off projects, but now you've got Mattel taking a leaf out of Lepin's book.
Yeah. You've also got potential to do famous political figures as well. I mean,
okay, now you're boring me, Darren.
No, easy to do. Trump already got the carrot colour.
They don't do religion, they don't do politics, and they don't do modern warfare.
Well, Mega Construct has.
Yeah, Mega Construct does. Yeah, well,
I was just trying to set up a joke where they could use the orange for Trump's hair. That was all. And his skin.
Anyway.
Mega Construct can have that.
Yeah, that's it. Let them have it. See, we're just feeding them with ideas, right? You know, go and do that.
Yeah, Mega Constructs. Trump. Make Trump.
Make Trump.
Make Trump great.
Oh, no. So, Adam, did we have any other topics that we wanted to cover before you get too uncomfortable?
Nah, not really. It's been a very, very slack week of news.
Yeah, well, I had to share that bit about Catherine because I saw a bit of a deeper story there.
Yeah.
There's one little bit of news. I won't bring up the thing. You remember the Darth Vader pod?
Yes.
She's back. Oh, he's back.
She's back. The pod's a she and the Darth Vader's a he. Yeah.
She's back. He's back. Yeah, no, sadly, they've reproduced the pod and it's now being produced to be...
They've done it properly this time.
I think it's this month or next month. I can't remember. Yeah, so let me read it. I'll tell you which month.
All the Star Wars geeks will be going.
Yeah, bunch of nutties.
Oh, some of my good friends love Star Wars.
Next month.
You're so mean, Adam. So mean. You're so mean.
Next month, free Darth Vader pod with $60 or more purchase of Star Wars.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Star Wars to get it.
And conveniently, it finishes on May 3rd.
May the 4th be with you.
Oh my God, that is stupid.
Maybe
So everyone has to get in and buy it for May the 4th.
Oh God.
Who says Lego's not good at marketing?
Adam, that was another interesting conversation that I saw around the internets and the Facebooks and the social medias yesterday. Was people talking about what themes they think would be good for future, and one that keeps on being popped up is classic space. I don't think classic space as it was back in the day would work with this generation of kids.
No.
I think it needs to be a bit more sophisticated, bit more detailed. You could do something like was it somebody said Douglas said SpaceX a range of SpaceX would be awesome. They can all incorporate a Mars colonization thing.
I think I've already done something similar to that.
Or something along those lines. Or or you could use the classic colours of the classic space and just modernize it.
True.
Yeah. And there was some good builds in classic space. I think one of the real appeals of classic space was that you started with some small sets, and as you fell in love with it, you moved up to bigger and bigger spaceships.
Yeah.
You got to build moon bases, things like that. Yeah. I think one thing that there is now a really good thing with if you went with a classic space colors and brought back a space theme is that now we have such more advanced building techniques that the chances of producing some really stunning models are really there. I mean,
and you could do a space station.
Yeah, for sure.
Space station, a little colony module for a planet far, far away.
Benny's spaceship was a good nod, but again, it was a very large, expensive model.
Yes. That was the one thing that I said was that it needs to be more economical. Yeah. Not so big.
You need to have a price point from like $7 to make a space theme work, I think. Yeah. Treat it more like you've done Nexo Knights. Well, I know Nexo Knights is gone, but treat the price points and the set sizes similar. Yeah. And I think a space theme would go gangbusters.
You could start with like a basic starter set like they have with the city lines.
Yeah.
And have like, ground movement vehicles like rovers, basic rovers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Little spaceships.
Chuck in some minifigures. You would only need to chuck in one or two. And all the space fans would just go, woo, buy all the things.
Okay,
and this is it. They've already got a ready-made market if they keep the trans yellow in for the windscreens, things like that, and the blue with the classic logos. They can then work away from that again because there's nothing. One thing that was actually missing initially.
We know you're trying to get them to bring more trans stuff out. I know.
But one thing that was really missing initially with classic, with as we know, classic space was it was all one theme. It was all the blue guys. Then we went to Blacktron, etc., which opened it up so you could have goodies and baddies if you wished to in your play because you had lots of different colors to play with.
Yeah.
So you need to do the same thing again if you're going to head into a space line. You need not necessarily a goodie and baddie side, but you need maybe even work on a different line and say, okay, we have two different cultures or even civilizations working together to a common good. And that's probably another way to get that theme to grow even more because then you're going to have to collect both sides of it.
Yeah, so if I look at the stories of Lego, like in City, it's cops and robbers, good guys, bad guys. It's just the way it is. As much as I would love to see something that was positive and combining forces, I don't think that would go down well with kids because look at the games they play. There's always an antagonist and a protagonist, people that are, fighting each other.
Yeah, that is part of it too. But one thing I really liked about the original space theme was there was no real weapons in it. You know, there was a couple of blasters in there, but that was pretty much, they were light on. They weren't the big part of the theme. You know, so yeah. Oh yeah, I'm copping it in the chat tonight. Yeah, I love my trannies. See, you got tranny bits everywhere.
Yeah,
you know,
your trans bits.
Yeah, like everywhere I reach at the moment, I can basically within arm's length of anywhere I can grab trans bits.
How about behind you?
I'd have to reach down to the floor to get that, but they are behind.
Oh my god!
He's too old for that, Adam.
There we go. See, another bag full. Yeah, there's trans bits already.
So that's why there's a trans supply issue in Australia.
It's all Darren's fault.
Well, I did buy an over 50,000 parts last year, so.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god!
Yeah.
You really don't want to know. I've started to consolidate all my boxes of just loose bricks everywhere into.
Oh, that's dangerous.
So far, the stuff that's come back from Mum's, I'm up to probably about 75 litres full and growing. Maybe even up to 115 litres.
Unsalted.
And that's not including the 105 litres I've got somewhere over the back there. I had him touched. Oh, God. Hey, but at least, as you can see, I am starting to sort it. I'm actually at the point I'm seriously thinking about making a Lego sorting machine. It's that bad.
My issue with that is yeah.
I'm thinking along the lines of how well, Dad used to do soil sieving and using screens.
Yeah.
To get it down, just trying to work out one go used for the screen.
Make it out of Lego.
No, too expensive.
There's a thing called a Lego sorting head.
Too small.
Too small. I need something what is like industrial size to sort my Lego.
Oh well, so you what you need is a Harry Potter Lego sorting hat.
Oh my god! Actually, talking about Harry Potter, guess what?
Oh,
it's home.
Harry Potter is home.
Oh, there it is. This is only a small portion of it.
There you go, Douglas. There's the transfer headlights, wedges, and cheese slopes and rounds.
I've got something got to reach over there.
Well, I don't know. I tidied away all my Lego to upstairs. I've got to start bringing it all back down again.
Maybe it's time to move the TV room upstairs and just turn downstairs into your Lego room.
Yes.
That is actually
so in our house, no Lego's made it upstairs.
I watch TV sometimes when I Lego.
Yeah, so far in our house, no Lego's made it upstairs yet.
Hey,
well, there's for everyone, everyone's
Lego downstairs and the lounge room upstairs.
You really want to take that upstairs?
Then you don't take that upstairs. I can live here.
What am I supposed to sit down when we watch TV?
Oh no! How often do you watch TV?
There's a thing called a computer.
Just get rid of the television.
As you can see behind, this is actually my living room.
Yeah, we believe you.
That is my living room. My couch is in the dining room. I do not have a dining room table at all.
I'm sitting in my dining room.
Yeah, we don't have a dining room.
It's a dining room.
Lego.
Yeah, I still got the stairs behind me. There's another room upstairs, but the problem with that room is too friggin' hot. So, yeah.
You know you're a true AFOL when you don't have a dining room table. 'Cause it's covered in Lego.
Dining room table's over here. It's on my set. It's my set now.
My dining room table is in the garage. It has 2 massive boxes on it that contain dinosaur parts. That's how often I use my dining room table.
Us with shows is getting out of control at the moment. At the moment, our old man is redesigning his back for his youth to fit more gear in.
What's coming?
Yeah, well, it has to be done. Because we want to. You know how the boxes go in now.
Yeah.
Remember how we had them when we were doing Rockhampton a few years back? We didn't have the back on; they were long ways.
Yes.
Yeah, he's wanting to change the back so he can fit them in long ways.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay, I think that's enough yakking.
Yarkety yak, we are the news.
We can yak more after the stream. Thank you for everyone in the chat for coming along. Sorry about
the late notice
and being unwell this week.
You're allowed to be unwell, Adam.
Yeah, no, I was really out of it yesterday and the day before.
Back.
But I'm back. So thank you for everyone for coming. If you're watching on this replay, just note you can now watch the chat again for what we have read. I'll probably find out in a few days if it did work. I don't know if I've done the right things or anything. Because it doesn't explain how it works.
YouTube, you make things so complicated.
So, thank you for everyone coming along. Don't forget ABC Aussie Brick Chicks stream tomorrow night. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'll probably be still not feeling good.
That's okay. You're allowed to take a night off occasionally. I'll forgive you.
Her stream starts 10 p.m. Queensland time. Don't forget, we are still on daylight savings until when, Darren?
End of March.
Easter. Yeah.
Easter.
So hopefully that'll be all changing around. Hopefully
thank you, Aussie Brick Chick. Thank you, Darren, for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Darren, for coming. Sorry for the late notice.
I only just got home and then saw you were on. So
never mind.
Yeah, thank you, Sheree, for coming along.
Okay. Well, let's wrap this up and say bye, everybody.
So bye for everyone. Sorry, Patreon's on hold at the moment because I'm really sick. Same as filming. So hopefully in the coming weeks I'll get better. What are you?
I forgive you.
Oh, yeah, the one and only. So until next week, hopefully back to normal schedule if nothing happens. Until then, keep on building and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.